He's a rising star of the Trump administration, and last week, senior policy advisor Stephen Miller took the podium at the White House press briefing room, where he aggressively defended the administration's immigration plan against Jim Acosta's effort to cite a 130-year-old poem as constitutional law.
Are we just going to bring in people from Great Britain and Australia?
Jim, I have to honestly say, I am shocked at your statement that you think that only people from Great Britain and Australia would know English. It reveals your cosmopolitan bias to a shocking degree that in your mind, no, this is an amazing moment. This is an amazing moment that you think only people from Great Britain or Australia would speak English. Is so insulting to millions of hard-working immigrants who do speak English from all over the world. Jim, have you honestly never met an immigrant from another country who speaks English outside of Great Britain and Australia? Is that your personal experience?
Of course there are people who come in.
But that's not what you said, and it shows your cosmopolitan bias. And I just want to say,
it sounds like you're trying to engineer the racial and ethnic flow of people into this country.
Jim, that is one of the most outrageous, insulting, ignorant, and foolish things you've ever said, and for you that's still a really, the notion that you think that this is a racist bill is so wrong and so insulting.
Stephen Miller joins us for his first post-Acosta takedown interview. How are you, Stephen? Good to see you.
It's great to be here,
I'm
Laura.
sorry, but we were in our radio studio howling watching this, all my producers and I. It was very funny. Have you heard from Acosta since that exchange? Any
no, nothing.
texts or Instagram or anything? Nothing?
I haven't heard anything, no.
Are you going to be coming regularly into the briefing room? Can we look forward to that? Because we enjoyed it.
I don't know. Right now I'm focused on trying to get more support as much as we can for the RAISE Act and the President's other policy initiatives.
Now, explain the RAISE Act, because it would cut legal immigration over time, which is very high. Most people don't realize 1 million people come into the country that get green cards, can stay here, work here, bring extended family members in. But even Republicans like Paul Ryan, I shouldn't say even Republicans, of course Republicans like Paul Ryan are against the RAISE Act. Marco Rubio today said that there's some merit in the RAISE Act, but it ain't going to pass the Senate. You have resistance in the Republican Party to the RAISE Act. How do you overcome it?
Well, it's an American issue. Bottom line is that Democrats support it, independents support it, and Republican voters support it. And eventually, if an idea has support from a broad swath of the public, it's only a question of time when it happens. And as you know better than anyone, Laura, we admitted about 300,000 people a year in the 70s, about 500,000 a year in the 80s. Now it's over 1 million a year. So what's happening right now is actually not the norm. It's actually unusual how many people we're letting in right now.
Yeah, the polling on this is so devastating for the other side. It's just... It's crazy. Like, I think it was a Gallup poll from a year or so ago, but it's almost like those numbers don't matter. It's always emotion, so it's citing the Statue of Liberty and so forth. Meanwhile, other polls are being floated by the media today. The CNN poll, we'll put it up on the screen. Thinking about following characteristics and qualities, please say whether you think each one applies or doesn't apply to Donald Trump. Is honest and trustworthy? Does not apply. You see 60% does apply, 36% doesn't know where they live, 3%. These polls are put out there for what reason, do you think? Because I saw this touted all day long on other networks, and I thought to myself, well, those are the same polls that had Hillary Trump winning significantly.
Yes. Well, the media's gotten the president wrong, of course, since the day he announced and every day since. And he's been right and they've been wrong. But there's no doubt, yes, why? Yeah. There's segments of the extreme media, and I wouldn't call it mainstream because it's extreme to want no borders. It's extreme to want to have unlimited, cheap migration, driving down working class wages. These are extreme positions. And so the extreme media is going to do whatever they can to tear down this president. But as long as the people stand for what they want and what they believe in, we're going to keep winning.
The populist movement, which, of course, Donald Trump is now really the leader of, is, I think, taking hold in communities across the country in different ways. So I don't think these polls necessarily reflect it. How do you guys grow this economic, nationalist movement, conservative movement into areas that are traditionally not really hospitable to Republican ideas? How do you guys plan to do that?
Well, you saw during the campaign the president made serious inroads with the African-American vote. And we're going to keep growing that.
Are you going to keep doing that? Because I think that was really... It was visually good. It was kind of reassuring to people.
Right.
I hear these Republicans, we're not going to go to California. We're not going to go to New England. A lot of people call into my show and say, we want him to go everywhere.
Yeah.
Get him on the road. Is that going to happen?
Yes. So, and I really want to emphasize that the president's agenda, and you're right, he is the leader of the populist movement that's taken hold in this country and swept the entire world. And what is that about? It's about a trade policy that creates more manufacturing jobs for our workers in Detroit and in Baltimore and all over the country, about an immigration policy that uplifts Hispanic workers and African-American workers into the middle class. It's about public safety, criminal enforcement, getting rid of gangs and cartels and drug dealers. These are policies that are going to help minority workers and traditional Democratic constituencies, and we're going to keep making inroads.
So will he take that message, which I think the way you just laid it out is really powerful. It doesn't matter about party lines. It's a powerful message for advancement, economic renewal, and frankly hope, because I get the sense that people just want to have the happy warrior Donald Trump. I know we have the serious situation, obviously, with North Korea, but they know the tough Donald Trump. But the happy warrior, a little twinkle in his eye, turn on the charm a little bit, he can do that. And are we going to see him in those different situations?
Look, President Trump's the most gifted politician of our time, and he's the best orator to hold that office in generations. And so we're going to take the message out to the people. Because you said he is the leader of this nationwide and worldwide populist movement, and it's about uplifting working-class people, black, Hispanic, white,
but they don't want to hear
that.
There are certain Republicans who don't want that message to resonate, and a lot of Democrats as well.
We're going to stand with the working class, not the investor class.
All right, it's great to see you, Stephen.
Hey,
and
great to see you.
Congrats on that. Very interesting and fun first appearance in the briefing room. All right, great to see you.